Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Lowdown, where we talk business and all things real estate. Today, I'm super pumped because I got my first real estate broker actually to be on the show, an extremely successful one, Lex Orosco. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
So, Lex, if people don't know who you are, could you just go into a little bit about yourself and how you got started in real estate?
So I've been in real estate for 12 years. I work in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. So, really fortunate to be in one of the best markets in the entire world. Worked at many different brokerages, worked for the first 6 years and just, building my business very slowly. Wouldn't say I had a ton of success, didn't really have much training and much guidance. Not until I met a great team lead who turned into a mentor, who turned into my business partner. Did I really learn how to do the business at a high level and really scale things up? Um, I would say in my 8th year is when I really started growing to, put up big numbers. I do a huge amount of mail marketing every month. Currently, I'm at about 60 to 70,000 mail pieces a month. That's kind of about year 8 is when I really started to pick up my mail marketing and went from doing, 30 million to over 100 million a year. And I've been selling over 100 million the last couple of years. Just recognized actually last week as the number one agent in San Jose by Real Trends Wall Street Journal. So that's pretty cool. And growing, moved over to a new brokerage, Real, which is one of the fastest growing brokerages in the country, and moved there in May. And since then, I've been growing not a team, but a group. Currently at 30 agents that I'm, helping train, motivate, inspire, and we're doing a heck of a job around here. And I think as a group, we're at about 90 million in sales in 5.5 months, and it's been an amazing run.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all your successes. I think especially when you first see someone, especially if they're new on Instagram, say someone just follows you or doesn't know who you are, I think it's very easy to just see success and just assume that that was just like a very easy thing. And obviously it wasn't for you, especially if it took you 6 to 8 years before you actually started to have success. Can you talk about some of the early years and the challenges that you faced and then how you stayed motivated for those 6 years? Because I feel like a lot of people will get into real estate and then quit within the first like couple years or so.
Yeah, I think real estate's changed so much. I think people are a lot more willing to share these days, and myself, I pride myself on really sharing with agents, teaching agents. I don't really care who they are. I pretty much give everyone a shot to join our group, and as long as you put in the work, I'm willing to help, and everyone in our group kind of follows suit and helps as well. So, the first, when I got into it, there wasn't a ton of Instagram, there wasn't a ton of Facebook. Really, it's just every man for themselves, and no top realtor is going to show you what they do. So it was tough in that sense, but it also really, I think benefited me because I didn't have instant success. Every year was a slow grind. I never ever thought I was going to be a top agent, in the country. Um, and I never had my sights set on that. It was just every day doing as much as I can with the day that was put in front of me and just constantly building and growing, not knowing where this was going to take me. Again, not till I, got some real guidance did things really start taking off. And I was able to, figure this business out and figure out how to do it on a large scale. And that's also why, because of the road that I've traveled, that's why I, you know, um, help so many agents and train so many agents, and don't really take splits from anybody, and not looking to make money off of other people, because my journey was so hard, and I know those early years that you start in the business where you're not making money, it's really difficult. It's really, really difficult, especially living in a place like we live, or like where I live, where the cost of living is so high. So I try to do the best for agents coming in, to help them as much as possible, help them with marketing costs, things like that, to really jumpstart their business and just give them the benefits that I never had.
hmm I think it's awesome that you do that. I think there's a lot of people who maybe just keep secrets to themselves, like you say. And I don't know if it's just like the newer generation of people just willing to help each other, and just like obviously the access to information that we have now is just a lot easier nowadays. But I think it's awesome that you do all that stuff. Um, did you come from another career before this, or did you start real estate part time and then go into full time?
Kind of eased into it. So I got to, graduate from San Jose State University and with a business degree, got a job out of college. Felt like I was doing good and really had, I think like a lot of people didn't really know what real estate could provide if you could really make it work, right? So for me, having a job out of college, making 25 bucks an hour while we're going through a recession in the country seemed really good to me. So I was, very comfortable. I didn't really want to get out of that. And it took, a person who kind of saw that I might be good in this industry to really push me and kind of offer me a great role with him to learn real estate while I got my license and kind of in the early stages. So yeah, it was it's very tough early on. I had to take multiple jobs to support myself during the early years as I was just trying to make it the first couple of years. Lost the question on kind of where we're at, but yeah, it's just really tough, and that early progression is hard, but you kind of do what you have to do to make it, and then till you can kind of get over the hump and really support yourself.
Yeah, because right now I'm a nurse also, and so I do that 2 or
Mhm.
3 days a week. And so I got
Wow.
my real estate license in December, and so I've been trying to do the real estate thing on the side. And a lot of people I talk to who are really successful say you kind of got to do it full time. And
Yep.
so I'm thinking that like eventually, if you're a newer agent or someone like myself, is it better to just like save as much as you can and then save like a nest egg and then go all in on it?
All about if you're passionate about it and you really want to do this. And the problem with it is hard to know if it's really for you until you do really dive in full time and kind of burn the ship and don't look back. But there's no way to really know. I mean, I think looking back, if you would have told me what's possible, it would have intrigued me. But I was also in a very different mindset early on to where like you know even now, I say this all the time, and I think people kind of look at me weird when I say it. Is I feel broke every single day. I never feel secure in where I'm at. I never feel like I've done anything in this business. I never feel like I've made it, and I think that's what causes me to push so hard and continue to drive every single day. Um, just because there is no certainty of tomorrow, right? There is no certainty that a deal is going to come, or so you have to kind of create something from nothing every single day. And I'm sure that's scary for a lot of people, and it's it doesn't sit well with me, but it also is that motivating factor to get you to push really hard every day.
Yeah, I agree. I think that having that mindset of obviously nothing's guaranteed definitely keeps you motivated and all that stuff. Um, how did you find your mentor again? Because you said that was like one of the pivotal points.
Yeah, that was kind of weird too because I'm not one to reach out for help. As you can see, 6 years of being in it and not getting much help, I wasn't really intending to look for anybody or get any additional help. It just kind of was a fluke. A person that I knew within the business was helping me with escrows, and the guy that I ended up joining his team, his person that was kind of in my position, I guess you would say a number two or however you want to slot that, right? Ended up leaving the group. So there was an opening and, interviewed and just kind of saw it as a really good fit for what I wanted to do. I knew it wasn't going to be for everything, and I didn't know what I was going to get out of it. But, I think I undersold everything. I think I got so much more out of it. I made so much more money out of it. But again, most importantly, what I learned from, that 2 year stretch has really just changed the trajectory of my career forever. And also my mindset and just, what I could do with this and how big I can make this. And, I always say, I haven't really done anything. And again, I'm just scratching the surface of where this thing can go. But I now have a very clear vision on where it is going. And, it's really exciting times.
What were some things that you were doing like the first 6 years where you didn't see too much success, and the things that you implemented once you got that new mentor that kind of just like was very pivotal for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm underselling it a little bit. I mean, I went from like 2 deals to 6 deals to probably 10 deals. So I progressively got better, and I was having success. It's just you don't really know how to lead generate. You don't know how to get listings. You don't know how to, when you do get a listing appointment, how to properly go on the appointment and showcase that you are the best person for the job. That you really have a system in place that's gonna do the best job for the client, and that's what's most important. you know what I see in the industry now is, and not taken away from newer agents, but brand new agents getting listings, and they have no idea what they're doing. And it's great that they have people to go to and ask a lot of questions. But I kind of worry sometimes that like clients aren't getting the best possible service. So having so many years in it, seeing every situation possible, especially right now with the market changing, and a lot more deals falling out of contract and a lot more tricky situations coming up. A newer agent would have a real difficult time dealing with some of the stuff that myself and my team have been dealing with the last couple of weeks. So it's really important to know what you're doing, to be able to handle different situations and just have those repetitions under your belt. That just gives you the confidence when things arise that aren't like aren't normal to the business. I've seen probably in the last month 4 or 5 situations that I've never ever seen before, in my career, right? In 12 years. So, and that never happens, right? Because I have seen, probably about 1,000 deals, over my real estate career or more. And then how many more that failed. But, through that time, you see every issue, you go through everything. So to see in a short span so many different things popping up is just a good indicator that the market is changing a little bit, and things are moving kind of in a, I don't want to say a different direction, but they're just kind of right now they're different.
Yeah. Are you allowed to talk about those five, or just like maybe?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, people pulling out of deals is a huge thing, right? Putting in non-contingent offers, and then, a week later, deciding that they didn't want the property. So there's a fight for the deposit. Had another one where, had a property that went into contract. It's actually going to mediation right now. The agent wrote an offer for a client that was non-contingent. We got into contract. They try to say that we misrepresented the contract or the property. We actually just put exactly what's on the county records into the MLS. Fast forwarding to kind of talking to the agent, she let it slip that she never even saw the property with her clients at all, and she submitted a non-contingent offer. So to write an offer like that, which basically is putting your client's deposit in jeopardy, and to never have gone to see the property at all, right, is pretty crazy. So these little things that like are, that I'm seeing, that I'm kind of, that are popping up are just so wild. But you have to be able to defend it, each side. I only found out that she didn't see the property is because I kind of talked her into it, because I know how to, work through those conversations, and she let it slip. She didn't say it on purpose, but she was just nervous and she kept rambling, and eventually she let it slip. And I, kind of was like, well, it's a good thing that I am recording this phone call right now, because you just told me you never saw the property while submitting an offer for your client. So you kind of just, shot yourself in the foot. So those types of things are just, it's just odd what we're seeing these days. And it's been a pretty crazy couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely weird things happen all the time. I actually just had a flip project that I finished and sold in August, and I had a weird thing happen to myself also. So I bought the property, and when I initially bought the property, there was pretty much two parcels on it. And when I bought it, the person who sold it
Mm-hmm.
to me was a trustee, and she only had the rights to sell one, but the title company didn't catch that. And so when we tried to resell it, pretty much the deed only showed that we owned only one parcel of the two. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, so the pretty much the new people who were buying it would have to go through probate and all this stuff, and our hard money loan was due, and it was just like honestly a shit show. And like my agent, who was an agent for the past like 20 years, was like, this is the first time I'd ever seen that. And so it's just like weird to see all these different things that happen in real estate. So hopefully those things ended well for you.
Looks like it. But at the end of the day, you can't, you have to have a very short memory, and you have to be able to just get up every day, and not worry about, what happened yesterday, and just because we're doing everything we can, right? And as long as you're doing the right stuff, and acting in good faith for clients, you shouldn't have an issue. And you can't control what a buyer is going to do, right, when they get in contract. So you hope that when they put an offer together, they're going to live by the terms of the agreement, but that has not always been the case recently. But again, you go back to it, it's not something that I can control. So I'm doing everything I can for my clients, and I always go over and above for them on every single listing that I take on. So that's all I can control.
Yeah, exactly. I think definitely just focus on the things that you can control. You can't control a lot of things that happen to you, but I think that's a great outlook to have. So going back to the training that you said that a lot of people tend to have to like lack it these days, do you think it comes down to like the brokerage, or do you think it comes down to like the agent? Because some brokerages, like when I first got my license, were like, "Oh, we'll give you the best kind of training." Others said, I mean, everyone kind of promised different things, but do you think the brokerage really makes a difference for newer agents, or do you think it comes down to just like finding a good coach or mentor?
Yeah, it's all about finding a good coach or mentor. I think the brokerage, I don't want to talk bad about brokerages, but I've been at many and they really don't show you anything. They don't, there, a lot of this business you have to figure out on your own, or you do have to have someone good that's going to show you the ropes. But if you're just relying on a broker or a brokerage to, train you, it's not going to be enough. Um, you really got to find somebody that's going to help you kind of one-on-one or walk you through your first couple of deals. And even when, brokerages set up these mentorships where, somebody will walk you through your first couple of deals and they, give you, you give, half of your percentage, or the percentage adjust as you get, more deals. I've just heard a lot of bad things about that as well. So I don't really think that, this industry has really come up with a good way to train agents. I think that I've been putting a lot of thought into that, and I've been kind of working on that. And I think the way that I'm training my group and our kind of team setup is probably one of the best ways out there. And I'm not just saying that to toot, my own horn, but I know that the skills that I'm giving agents, they're not getting from anywhere else, right? When it comes to marketing, how to create leads, how to go on a listing appointment, what to say at a listing appointment, how to be prepared for a listing appointment. These are all things that if I would have got early on, would have been a great help. But I just don't think that people, want to put in the time and effort to somebody else that, they're not really going to benefit financially from. I think that's what it comes down to. These big brokerages, again, I hate to talk bad, but I just think, at the end of the day, they're really in it for profit. And it's not really about growing an agent to be great, right? It's just, they're collecting their monthly fees and they're making sure that they have a high agent count so that, they're able to keep the lights on. But, I don't really see great training. You'll go to, a brokerage meeting on a Tuesday, and no offense, because I love some of these guys, but you'll have an older office manager who doesn't sell any real estate, kind of talking to these agents, right? Where it's like, are you really in the thick of things and really able to give firsthand knowledge of what's going on? Whereas when you come to one of my meetings, it's very intuitive. Everyone is interacting, and everyone is, doing something at these meetings. So my agents get so much more out of the meetings that I put. And I've put a lot of thought into how to run them, how best to help agents improve quickly. And it's shown, a lot of agents that come over to work with me, have 0 to no deals. And, I can give you 5 examples of agents that within 4 to 5 months have 5 to 6 deals running already. Right. And every time I talk to them, they got something new going on. And that's just, the training, that's the daily, them being able to see me daily and what I put into this, and constantly lead generating, just showing what needs to be done to be successful in this business.
Yeah, I love that. What do you think is the best way for people to get leads nowadays? Like, do you think it's social media? Do you think it's doing open houses? I feel like there's so many different ways you can do it, and people swear by different things. But what do you think is the biggest, I guess, return for your time and money that you may put into marketing or whatever?
I mean, everything works. It's just a matter of what you put, your time and effort into. If you're going to be great at open houses, it's going to eventually work. If you're going to be great at door knocking, calling, mailing, all of that stuff is going to work. It's just the amount of time and effort that it's going to take, right? We all want instant gratification these days, and we all want something to happen immediately. So when you do, 3 open houses in a row and you're not getting any, buyers from it, you're going to get agents get discouraged and like, man, I'm not doing that anymore. Let me switch to something else. But I would say probably more importantly, if I was talking to a newer agent, I think that you have to try everything. My suggestion to a newer agent is always the same. If it was me starting over, I would time block my schedule. I would walk, flyers I'd walk flyers in a farm for 2 hours a day. I'd get on the phone and call for a couple hours a day. And then I would, write some envelopes, like I do every single day, to try to mail market. So I would try to combine and do social media. I would try to combine everything, and just see what works best for you. Because for me, very quickly, I realized I am not going to go door knock. I'm just not going to do it. I can get on the phones. I've done it before, but I don't want to. So, social media, I don't really get, many leads from it, because the average, seller consumer, in my market is not on social media, right? They're working, they're, in tech, or they're older. So I'm not getting, I might get 1 or 2 leads a year from social media, but not much at all. Social media is really helping me grow my brand and the real name and the brokerage, and bring over agents, which I'm not actively recruiting. They're all coming over, to work with me. But I think that's what it's more made for. Not so much lead generating in my area. But if you're in an area, like North Carolina or Alabama or somewhere like that, where all the homes are, 300, 400,000 or less, and, the average person, the manager at Kmart, Walmart, one of those stores, can potentially, with their spouse, buy a house, then you're going to get a lot more of those consumers being on TikTok and social media. And I think it's far more beneficial. I know some great agents who do that, and they get a ton of business from it. But, I don't think that the consumer around my area is really on social media. So I don't put as much, time and effort into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think it's great that you said do everything, try everything, because you don't know, obviously, till you try it. And then just like anything, it seems like you got to really just focus on one thing and just focus on that for a while before you try anything else. Because if you don't give yourself enough time, obviously you don't know. It could just be like one day or one more flyer or whatever until you get that first one. And that could obviously like build your, I guess, snowball effect.
Hmm.
So I guess going into your business, like what were some of the biggest challenges you faced once you actually started scaling your business?
I think it's money. I think it's it's money. It's, I want to scale faster and bigger than, I could, afford, right? So, you can only do what you can with, the resources that you have, right? So, um, for me, it was always scale. It was always, knowing that, if I had the money and the funds, and being secure with it, right? Because, I have the marketing budget, but I also, want to feel secure about the bills being paid, about everything else that's going on. So you got to be cognizant of what, what your overall spend every month is. So for me, it's just about, getting to that point where I could spend what I wanted to spend, and really, really get after it. Because, um, you know, people just need opportunities. You can do as much role play as you want, you can do as much practice as you want, but getting in there, to see live bullets in front of a seller is just something different. The reason that I'm so confident, so good getting in front of a seller is because, I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times. So, I think, really it's just about, my issue was always scale, and wanting to, I need to be busy, I need to be doing stuff. So, how do I get to that point of being able to spend more on marketing? And I'm kind of at that point now where, I'm investing so much every single month into marketing. And I, really expect a huge year from what I'm doing, and really to 4x, my investment, that I'm currently doing right now, just because I see it growing slowly, and I know it's about to happen.
Yeah. How much do you spend on marketing, if you don't mind me asking, a month?
About 30K. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. But my
but
thing is that, and I say this a lot, my thing is, the 30K that I'm spending now, will make me, let's say, 100, right? Right now. Inventory is down, sales are down. When things, they're not going to get back to where supply and demand is even, but inventory will grow, right? After the election's done, and when rates come down, inventory will grow. So if I can keep that same marketing budget, but inventory, say, doubles or triples, then my sales are going to double or triple. So that same marketing budget I have that was making me 100 is probably going to make me, let's say 250, right, a month. So that's the way that, I look at it. And right now it kind of feels like just weathering the storm. Although, doing very well. I don't take away from that, but it's not what, I expect, because I know what I'm putting out there, and I know what type of return I should get on what I spend. So I think I'm getting a decent return, but I think next year, hopefully the market gets better, and the return is going to be a lot greater.
That's awesome. When people first get into real estate, I think they're always, especially myself included, they're like, I'm gonna get into real estate because I'll be my own boss. I'll have a lot more flexible hours. The pay obviously can be, there's no limit to it. And then you soon quickly realize like, oh shit, it's like extremely challenging. You have to do all this stuff yourself. You're pretty much just like a one-man army. How do you balance working like time working on the business, like where you're like trying to make everything more efficient, building systems and processes versus like working in the business, doing the day-to-day things like um, talking directly to the people, showing open houses, or like doing the seller appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, my day is 90% lead generating all day. That's really all I do every single day. If I have to go to listing appointments, which I have one today, I had a listing call this morning and I have a listing appointment this afternoon. Besides that, my day is 100% spent on lead generating or helping, answer questions from my team group, right? So where I can help those agents. I have, over the years, every stop and every brokerage that I've made, I've picked up something great that's added to my business. So in terms of, the actual business, I have an amazing listing manager who handles really everything for me on all my listings. And I pay her really well per file. And then I have a transaction coordinator on every single listing that runs all the documents. So for me, my time is really spent lead generating every single day. And I do tedious, like remedial things that people think I shouldn't be doing, like writing envelopes. But I know that the goal every single day is to make 100 contacts, right? And if you can make 100 contacts a day, you put yourself in the top 10% of all realtors in the country in what you're doing every day, right? To generate business. So I also, tell my group that they have to do the same thing. They have to make 100 contacts a day. So I'm never going to tell someone something that I'm not doing myself. So for me, that's, doing that as well as following up with past clients, working on marketing aspects of the business, flyers. Right now I'm doing listing presentations and things like that I'm editing. But really, yeah, 100% of my time is spent lead generating every single day. And that's all that, I think a realtor should be doing. Because a lot of the other stuff can be, when you get to the point, you can push it off to someone else. When you are not at that point yet, yeah, you have to do a lot more things on your own. But for me, I'm trying to scale on a big level. So, that's the most important aspect of real estate as a whole, is just lead generating.
I don't know if you've read the book "Buy Back Your Time" by Dan
Mm-hmm.
Martell, but I love that book. He pretty much, just for people who don't know, it's just like his biggest focus on the book is just like figure out what your like if you had a specific hourly rate that you would give yourself time for, whatever you think whatever task gives you the highest hourly rate, really focus on that if you have the means to do it, and then hire out like everyone, like everything, other tasks, like Lex was saying. So I think it's great that you were doing that and focusing on the lead generation so much. um, can you? So you said you have one sales manager who does all the listing stuff. You have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to get exactly like. Do you have a TC? Do you have? You said you hire out for everything else. So do you have like VAs or anything like that?
No, no VAs. I mean, I own a mail company, Impact Mail. So, for that business, I do have a VA that works on that business. I have two VAs and two people in warehouse that are running all the orders. But for my real estate business, no VAs, nothing like that. I think it's important to I think a big part of why my system runs so successfully is because all of my people are here locally, right? And they can all be seen and heard. I think when you have a bunch of VAs and they're doing a bunch of different tasks, for one, a lot of times if you're outsourcing it to a different country, you can tell that you're using somebody from a different country, right? And I'm not knocking or saying anything bad about that. Everyone's going to run their business on their own, but that's not necessarily the perception that I want to have of my business. Anybody who's client facing on my team, I want them to really be heavily involved in the real estate market here, right? Knowing everything. My listing manager, or my kind of sales manager, listing manager, has sold a higher property than me. She sold an $8 million house, right? And she still continues to sell real estate right now, right? So the level that she's at, and the what she brings to every single listing, I'm confident that, she always asks me, because she always wants, reassurance in a decision she makes. And I'm like, look, you've been through probably as many deals as I have, right? So I trust you. So it's really important for my name, my brand around here um, to have these people locally, because, most of these people are going to meet the clients, right? If I co-list with someone, they're going to meet the clients, and my listing manager, Jennifer, she's going to meet the clients at some point, and she's going to be talking to them a lot on the phone. So I want, her to have seen the property, to know what's going on with everything. It just brings such a different level. Whereas if you're kind of just outsourcing tasks to someone, that's great for the back end, but not for the front end where it's client facing.
Yeah, there can be a lot more disconnect also.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are there specific, just going into, I know you said that you have 90% of your time is spent doing the lead generation. Is there any other like specific like time blocking that you do, or just like other specific habits that you implement or do daily that you think has brought a lot of success into your professional or business?
Yeah, I mean, just the start of my day, getting to the gym at 5 a.m. Every single day, listening to motivational speeches, motivational just podcasts, motivational anything, that's going to bring great thoughts into my mind while I'm working out in the morning, and really just sticking to a schedule. Being done at the gym by probably right at 6 a.m. Doing red light therapy every single day for 10 to 20 minutes, being knowing that I'm gonna be done with that at about 6:20. Start cooking breakfast, get in the shower, get ready, and being downstairs at where I sit every single day by 7 a.m. And just like making sure that my post goes out at 7 a.m. in the morning. It just keeps me in a very consistent mindset every single day. I even feel that I'm slacking if I don't meet those times or don't do it. And I know some days I need to give my body a rest from the gym, but for me, I just it really keeps me on point, on task, and then it also shows my group. It's super important that they see it every single day. They see the consistency that I bring and what it takes to be selling at a level that I'm selling, right? So I've had so many people that have joined my group that, one, he was a little bit out of shape before he came over, and now he's hitting the gym every day. Another one where, he wasn't getting up early, and now he's starting to get up at 5 a.m. to work out, right? Just the small changes that I know that my schedule has brought to other people. I have probably about 15, 20 agents around the country that are all writing envelopes every day. And, I see it in their stories, or they'll tag me or whatever it is. And just small things like that, it's weird that, I don't want to take all the credit for it. They're putting in the work. But I know, it's pretty cool to see some of the things that, I do, other people are doing, and kind of following suit, and also seeing them have success, and I'll see them at a conference, or I'll see them somewhere, and, they'll kind of give me a little bit of praise, which is cool. And, hey, you helped me change my schedule, or help me, get better at my schedule. And that's super important, because for me, being up at 5, being downstairs at 7, I always know that I'm 2 hours basically ahead of everybody else, right? And if I do that consistently every single day, no one's going to be able to catch me. I'm just way too far ahead because I'm just putting in too much work. So a lot of people are shocked by the results that I get, from in this business, right? And all the listings that I get. And I'm never shocked, to be honest. I know that I put in the hours and the time, and I deserve everything that's coming my way. So, I'm never surprised. People are like, how are you running 6 and 7 deals at one time? And it's like, I don't know. I have a great mind for it. I think it's easy, especially with the support that I have. I give so much praise to them because they do so much. But I'm just, when you're up early and when you have the right mindset, it's easy to take on hard things during the day, especially when your workout's the hardest and you get it done first, right? And then everything else is pretty much easy after that. So, yeah, just that schedule, that time blocking is super, super important. And it's made me the person that I am. And it's, kind of been probably the biggest part of my success.
Yeah, I agree completely. I myself also wake up at 5 and I try and get a workout in. Sometimes when I'm working in the hospital at 7, I'll wake up at 3 to make sure I get a workout in before work. But I think it's the best way to start the day, and the discipline that you get from that also translates into your business, like you were saying as well. And
Yep.
so I agree completely. So I know you said you do the 2 hour workouts in the morning, and then you're doing the real estate stuff at 7. What time do you usually go until? Like, I'm just trying to get an idea of like how you maintain like a work life balance, if so, especially like when you're
I
scaling
don't
up.
have one. I don't
Like
have a
how
work life balance.
I was just wondering, like, obviously real estate is very, very 24/7. Like, how do you avoid burnout and things like that?
Um, I don't really believe in work life balance. I mean, it's never been something that I've thought about. I love real estate, so it's not a job. It's never been. There's never been one day where I'm just like, man, I don't want to go downstairs and I don't want to get to work. Like, I don't like I don't like I go to bed early because I'm just bored at night because like I don't like downtime. So for me, I feel blessed that I'm living the most amazing life. I can never ever could have imagined this in my wildest dreams. So to be able to do this every day on the level that I'm doing it and have the success that I'm having, there's nothing better. So I'm just not a big proponent of work-life balance. I think if you get into, like, Ryan Serhant said it very well when he started in real estate. He got into real estate, basically got cast for $1 million listing right when he started, um, and he didn't take a day off for his first 3 years, right? Because he knew that they were going to start shooting the show in 18 months, and he had to come up with some listings or he wasn't going to be on the show. So he worked tirelessly every single day, no days off for the first 3 years. And honestly, that's what I would have done too if I could go back and know that. Like, I wouldn't take any days off. Like, I don't think you deserve days off. Like, I think that so many people, especially with the size of the commission checks that we get, they sell one house and like they're like, okay, I'm set for 3 months. I don't got to do anything. And it's like, no, well, you're not going to eat in 3 months if you're not building something right now. So um, for me, I just think is not a great mindset. That's also why I have a trouble with, a lot of people in this business, because I do go so hard and I don't really relate to a lot of people because, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. And, I'm trying to do great things in this business, and not everyone sees it the same, which is fine. You got to do what makes you happy, but this makes me happy, and this makes me gives me that great feeling every single day, and makes me wake up and want to do this every day.
It's great that obviously I agree, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And obviously your work ethic is just a testament to like the success that you have. And like, if people don't put in that work, they're obviously not going to have that success. So I think there has to be periods in your life when you're doing grinding and working your ass off. And I think that obviously it really shows with your work. And so kudos to you for everything. It's definitely a huge inspiration.
Thank you.
Yeah. How has I know with everything that happened with the NAR settlement and all the new changes that were implemented into everything, has that affected your business at all?
Yeah, in the best way possible. It's blown my business up. So I was at a previous brokerage from January until May, and when the NAR settlement happened, I knew that there was going to be chaos in the market, and things are going to go crazy, and sellers aren't going to know what's going on with commission. So I knew that there was going to be an opportunity to really lean into that agreement and pick up a lot of business. I actually proposed what I wanted to do to my old brokerage, and they didn't like my idea, and they said, we don't really want you promoting what you're planning on promoting. And so I, had to make a tough choice because they treated me very well, and had to leave brokerages. And I left in May to join Real. And since leaving in May, I've signed 35 listings. And it's all because of exactly what I wanted to do and what I told that brokerage that I wanted to do. And I know that they're probably, maybe they're kicking themselves in the, maybe not, but I know what I did was correct, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And what I didn't know was going to happen was so many agents were going to come eventually start working with me, and I didn't know that in 5 months I would grow it to 30 agents. Um, and that's been the biggest surprise, but it's also been the biggest joy because, I love having agents who want to get better and learn and grind around me. And I have a ton of them around me now. So, when going back to like what you were talking about, motivation and burnouts, a lot of what I do these days is to kind of set the pace for my group, right? And to kind of lead from the front because, to me, no one's going to follow someone who doesn't outsell them, right? They'll follow them for a little bit, and they'll get their tips from them and, kind of listen to them for a little bit. But that voice starts to get tuned out very, very quickly if you're not the top salesperson in that group, right? Because, eventually it's like, well, I'm outselling you. Why am I listening to you? Right? Like, I'm doing things better than you right now. So, a lot of that motivation that I have right now is to make sure that I'm producing at a high level. So these 30 people that are under me are, giving me that respect, right? To want to learn and want to follow, what's made me successful. So that's been, I credit that to NAR. I really do. I credit that to the settlement, because if that settlement doesn't go through, I don't move brokerages. I don't go on this run that I've been going on, and I don't have these 30 agents that are with me right now that I love. I love them like family. I know that they'll run through a wall for me because they know I'll run through a wall for them, and it's just it's just such a great thing. I'm in the best place that I've ever been in life, because everything is falling into place at the exact right time. And I know that settlement, scared a lot of people, but for me, like, my eyes opened up and I was like, this is it. This is like what I needed right now. And I've kind of shown that with the results that I've put up. So it's been amazing. It's been the best thing that could have ever happened.
That's awesome. I think everything happens for a reason, and change is inevitable. And so, obviously, you have to be willing to adapt and change very quickly. And obviously, you were able to do that. And I think the people who don't change or adapt in any kind of situation or field or whatever, I think those are the ones who get left in the dust. And so, obviously, you've had a lot of success, and I think that's just going to be something that continues to be the case for you.
Yep.
That's awesome. So what are you most excited for next? Seems you had a lot of success. You've obviously had the last 3 or 4 years doing over 100 million in 150 million in transaction sales. Like what gets you excited most for the upcoming future?
Yeah. So, first with the group, I'm looking to grow this to 200, 250 agents. I'm looking to do that in probably about a year and a half. So, I think that, again, the training that I'm doing, the marketing that, that I have for my group, and I think that is going to really help people, and help a lot of agents. So I want to definitely grow that. I'm planning on starting a coaching program probably next month. So I want to grow that, and then just seeing where the marketing that I'm doing. Right now as a group, individually I'm doing about 60,000 homes a month. As a group, we're doing about 100,000 homes a month. So I'm really excited to see what that translates to, because I think eventually that's going to start bringing in probably anywhere from 10 to 20 listings a month, which is going to be huge because, you think about all the open house opportunities, you think about, all the reps that everyone's getting on going on listing appointments, how sharp, my group's, skills are gonna be, and how much we're going to improve over the next year is just something that's, really exciting, and really helping to grow, Real's brand. I just came back from the conference in Las Vegas, and um, I've never been a part of a brokerage that I feel is growing in the right way, doing things, right, and really promotes, um, helping other agents, and really improving as a whole, and whether it's, talking to someone from across the country in a different state, a top agent. I just see such a different vibe, and also the technology that they're looking to build in the future is going to be game changing for the industry. So, so much to look forward to and be excited about, and it's hard to contain myself, every day. But I try to, I just potentially, I won't say that I did, but potentially got confirmation that I'm going to be signing my biggest listing ever this morning.
Awesome, congratulations.
Yeah, so over 5 million it looks like. So I mean, it's um, just so thankful, so blessed, like in everything that's coming my way. And I know that a huge part of that is because I am helping so many agents. I am so selfless and bringing agents on listings and just being the way that I am, and it's rubbing off on our whole team. And we just have a great family vibe to us. And that's my hope is just that continues, and we just continue to grow, because I think there's no better place for either an experienced agent, a new upper coming agent, than being with our group, because everyone is just so helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can tell that obviously you're extremely humble, and obviously you give unconditionally, and that's extremely important. I think when you do that, the universe comes back to you tenfold always. And I think it's super important to just surround yourself by extremely motivated and like-minded people, and it seems to be the case with you and your team. And I think that you're going to have a lot of success. So I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Thank you.
So we're nearing the end of the podcast now, and I just always like to kind of like ask like a couple questions. So if if you had a favorite book, what would be like one or two of your favorite books that you've had in your either recently or just like that you think someone new should start reading?
Oh man, I always say I'm not great with titles. I read a lot. I have a big book collection over here, and I have to start looking at the names. Um, but I'm not great with titles of books or music artists, songs. Like I'm horrible at that. I'm horrible about names of restaurants. So I'm not the right person. I like I said, I read a lot.
What
And
about a favorite quote?
that too. I'm bad. I know a lot. I know a lot of quote, or I've just taken in a lot, but my memory doesn't work well there. I can tell you property addresses, specs on homes, price per square foot, every single zip code within an hour from my house, but I can't tell you the the names of some of these things. I'm just not
What,
great with it.
no worries. What about a favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast. I think that my CEO, Sharon Shabata, I think that listening to anything that he puts out, because it's so positive and is so pointed in the right direction for where the real estate industry is going, I think that's what I would kind of point to. I think his, for me, just listening to one of his podcasts changed my whole listing presentation approach. And that's hard to do when I'm so stuck in my ways and what's made me successful. So I think he's definitely a person to listen to, and someone that inspires me.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. And then last question is just who's the most influential person in your life or someone you look up to the most?
Probably my mom. Yeah, definitely my mom. I think that she, looking back now, she gave up some of the most valuable years of her life to take me to sports every single weekend, and to just live her whole life based around what I needed and how she could help me. So she is one of my big inspirations and why I do what I do. And I'm thankful that I'm to the point of making more money and being able to do more things for her. But yeah, I mean, she's she's done so much for me in my life. She does so much for those around her. And you know graduating from college was for her, right? It wasn't for me. It was to you know show her that I can do it when I didn't even think I can do it. And I know she loses her mind in how much I spend in marketing and what I'm doing, but I hope she realizes it's for a good reason. And I'm kind of showing that I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Love that. Well, Lex, it's been awesome. You've been super helpful, and I know that a lot of people, all the listeners, will gain so much knowledge and gems from this. So, if people want to get a hold of you or find out more about you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, Instagram, Lex Sells Homes is probably the best place, and feel free to DM me. I respond back to everyone, and always available to help agents and do anything I can to make agents better.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm Lorenzo Mercado, and this is Lex Orosco. This is The Lowdown. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.
Peace.